future, talk radio will actually educate, inspire, and make you think. The future is now. Topics and music that affect your life from Universal Broadcasting Network. Tune in at ubnradio.com.
Welcome to the National Safe Child Show, addressing the health, safety, and welfare of all children nationwide, because it shouldn't hurt to be a child. Here is your host, Tammi Stefano.
Hello, folks. Hi, folks. Welcome. Welcome to the National Safe Child Show. Today, there are so many things going on. It would take months, actually, to cover the egregious system that we have that is supposed to be protecting children. And folks, I'm telling you, everybody must be a voice at this point because children's lives are in danger, and they're in danger more so through the system that was only established for one purpose, and that was to protect them. We have been following a couple of cases that have become quite high profile. One takes place in the state of Alabama. If you recall, a 14-year-old who was a rape victim and decided to keep her baby, no sooner gave birth to her son in the hospital when DHR, which is what the system is called in the state of Alabama, the Department of Human Resources, went in only hours later and snatched her infant for no reason at all. She was safe, her baby was safe, and she didn't pose a danger. She hadn't even left the hospital. We're going to follow up on that, folks, because as we speak, this family is in more danger because many of you who have become victimized by the system know if you make any noise, if you try to resist, if you oppose, if you disagree, they retaliate against you. And this has become common practice. We have Terry LaPointe on the line with us. Terry, welcome to the National Safe Child Show, and thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me. Always. Thank you
Terry,
so much.
It's our pleasure, and we thank you. The bottom line is, Terry, right now, in this system, do you think that this family in the state of Alabama has been retaliated against?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But here's the thing. If they hadn't gone public, I don't think there is any chance that the 14-year-old mother would have ever been reunited with her baby, because the family has a history of not speaking out, and they just do whatever they want to do to this family, and they've targeted them for many years. So they took a chance on speaking out. And yes, they've been retaliated against, but they have actually where they were able to reunite the mother and the baby, and so the system is aware that they are being watched. They are fighting back, but to me, they are like rats in a corner that have been caught with no place else to go. So they are fighting back. But this is a battle that I really think that they are going to win ultimately because of their courage to speak out and expose what's going on.
And what we're hearing from the National Safe Child is case after case after case where these parents are forced to not speak out. They are stalked by social workers or entities that are affiliated with social workers for one purpose, and that purpose is to make sure that nothing is being posted on social media. Have you heard about that?
Yes, there's so many families that I hear about that where they go after them, they bully them with confidentiality laws or gag orders, and they have a very concerted effort to silence anybody speaking out about the abuses that are going on.
Okay. I know for a fact that although they claim that when a parent puts their children's picture out, you're a parent, you're worried about your child, you haven't seen your child, and you share your child's picture, they say that this has placed this child in harm's way, in danger. And yet, we have found several different social media platforms owned and controlled by the individual social workers, I mean, across the nation. And they are sharing their children's pictures, and yet that's not a problem. Do you think that this is a First Amendment issue? I mean, are they violating a person's First Amendment rights?
I think so, absolutely. I think that one of the reasons, from my study of history, one of the reasons that freedom of speech was put into the Bill of Rights was to secure the right for individuals to actually speak out against government abuse. And I don't think the founding fathers ever envisioned parents being silenced like this. I don't
Absolutely.
think that this was. I think that was directly the reason why the freedom of speech and freedom of the press were put into the Constitution.
Of course, to protect a person's right to be able to say their opinion, share their thoughts. I mean, that's why
exactly.
foreigners come here, folks. Let's not forget, they come here because of one sole purpose, primary purpose, and that is to be able to speak freely. Because in so many other countries, they are suppressed. They can't study the Bible freely. They can't practice their freedom of religion. They can't speak out freely because they will be stoned, they will be shot, they will be imprisoned. And here we have those luxuries because that is the purpose, that was the foundation of this country. But not anymore. Not anymore, folks. And if you haven't been affected, believe me, I say it all the time, your number will come up eventually because this has become a rampant situation and it is only gaining. I am fearful of the traction that it's gaining. I am fearful of it.
Yes.
And
then when you start talking about it, people come out of the woodworks and they confess in whispers. Yeah, we dealt with them. They came after my cousin or my grandchild or this person or that person, and it's not talked about openly at all. It's whispered in secret.
That's right.
But when we can bring this out into the open, then we can address it and deal with it, and we can see that there are many, many human rights and civil rights being violated and legal rights being violated. They're doing things that are illegal all the time, but because they forbid people to talk about it, these things are not being exposed.
But here's what I have to say. I don't think, whether they forbid or not, that it is constitutional for them to forbid. And the only thing that stands between a parent saying enough is enough, I will abide by the law, and you, sir or madam or whomever is telling me to not speak out freely here while I stand on American soil and I am an American citizen, I don't think that they should listen. And I don't think that they're violating any laws because our laws contradict that directive.
Yes, and our founding fathers actually told us that we are under no obligation to obey an unconstitutional law or an illegal order.
That's right.
Our founding fathers said that.
That's right.
This is absolutely an illegal order. It is an illegal twisting of the words, torturing and twisting of the laws in order to try to make it say something that it doesn't, in order to bully people. It's a bully tactic.
It's a bully tactic. And you know what? It has worked. But I say here today, July 22nd, 2016, any parents that are going through this, take a stand. I promise you, although you are told, don't make any noise, cooperate, do whatever they say and get your kids back. Even the parents that do that are not guaranteed. I know parents, I'm sure you do too.
Right. They jump through all the hoops and they get nothing.
And they get nothing. And guess what? And now nobody knows. Let the public know. Take a stand and make some noise, folks, because you're doing nothing wrong and you are violating no laws. We do not advocate for breaking the law, but speaking out is not breaking the law. And if you don't know the Constitution, I suggest everybody go back, get online. It is available to everybody. Read the Constitution because you need to know it and you need to cite it to these people. So while they are telling everybody, Terry, this is astonishing. While they are telling everybody don't post anything on the internet, John, I'm wondering if you can, and I'm going to pull up on my end, I have received some pictures of a Los Angeles social worker. His name, and we don't hide names because we're not hiding things like they don't. This is not bound by confidentiality, folks. His name is Ethan Schaefer. Ethan Schaefer. He's a Los Angeles County social worker currently. Now, I don't know Ethan, nor have I ever spoken with him. Many of you know his supervisor because his supervisor's pictures have been put out there wearing a toga, going to a toga party within the department of the office of the Department of Children and Family Services. Ethan posted a bunch of material on his social media. And so for as much as, folks, they are monitoring you, you might want to consider taking a stand and start looking into the social media posts that the people working on your case are posting. It might be very interesting. John, if you can show some of what we discovered, I'm going to pull it up. This is just unbelievable, folks. Unbelievable. So while people are losing their children under the premise of illegal suppression, others, that being the social workers, are having a dandy time posting on their Facebooks or on their social medias all sorts of interesting things. I don't know what John has up right now. I'm not to see it for some reason. But hopefully he has a multitude of pictures up. Or maybe, John, you want to show the first picture of a singular picture so everybody really gets a good view of this gentleman, okay? And I will be kind, as we are. Ethan Schaefer, Los Angeles County, Chatsworth office social worker. The post is of him. He looks very stoned, okay? Looks like he has smoked, looks like he has consumed alcohol. And the post starts off with, time to get arrested. And he has hashtagged milk carton centerfold. This is a current social worker. I am looking at the different comments. And a friend of his says, where is the party at? And he says, it's a race, rental car rally. The pre-party is over. The after party is tomorrow. LOL, Keisha Milligan. I don't know if she's a social worker. She might be. She then says, then another man says, so did you get arrested or are you still working on it? Ha ha. Hello, Mr. Social Worker. Are you working on getting arrested? Ethan then says, I survived a police checkpoint. What does that mean, folks? Several reports of the police responding throughout Southern and Central California, including the Haunted Dairy in Santa Paula, and finished the rally with my group. The night's young and the alcohol is flowing. Take me drunk. I'm home. He says, we are the champions. Folks, how many children, Terry, are you aware, or parents are you aware that have been forced to have a multitude of drug tests even though they never did drugs?
Oh my goodness! The story that we just that I just went up today on medicalkidnap.com about the O'Donnell twins' mother. Yes. She's never done a drug in her life. She's never smoked a joint ever. But for 2 years, she has been doing this drug testing. She's on that color code thing where they call her. She doesn't have really a lot of freedom to move around because they call her, and if they call her on the day that her color comes up and call her to go in to be tested, if she doesn't show up, that would be a negative. That would show up as a negative.
Right. It's just
drug test. And she's never so much as smoked a joint. She's never done drugs. 2 years taxpayers are paying for this.
2 years of random drug testing. Folks, she could be at a doctor's appointment, but if that social worker decides to pick up the phone and say, I just made an appointment and put your name into this drug testing facility, I've had several cases where they say, they called me at 4 o'clock. They know I don't have a car. The facility closes at 5 o'clock. I was at a doctor's appointment. But guess what? If they don't go, folks, then their test is considered a dirty test. Mm-hmm. They get a mark against them. It's dirty. It's either it's dirty whether you test dirty and it's legitimately dirty, or you don't go. That is also considered dirty. So while they are scurrying, people who have never even, Miss O'Donnell never even smoked a marijuana, smoked cannabis, okay? Let's take a look at the multitude, the collage of pictures of, again, Ethan Schaefer. Ethan, evidently your number came up today, sir. I don't have anything against you. I don't know you, but I do not agree with you being a social worker. And quite frankly, you are a law breaker. So let's look at this collage, folks. And if John, if you can bring up and maybe over to the right, Ethan Schaefer, children's social worker, level 2. He gets paid $52,986, folks. Overtime pay, $7,457. Other pay, $3,610. Total pay, $64,000. His benefits, $18,018. Total of $82,071. He's holding a bag of cocaine or crystal meth or whatever white substance that looks like, folks. I've never been around drugs, don't do them, but he's making a joke with a smile on his face as he holds his bag with some illegal substance in it, drug substance, and it says, don't do drugs, kids. He has included Paul Walker's memorial, Paul Walker, with Van Kong. Don't do drugs, kids. I don't know who it is. There's another one. I pooped and peed a little seeing this creepy harvest or of children's dreams. He's making fun of children's dreams, I believe. And it scared him so much. Has he heard the children's dreams as he is interviewing them, children who truly are not being hurt, or children who are really being hurt, but he's too stoned and high? Who knows? Folks, look at these posts on this page. He is proud of what he's done. He's holding bottles of alcohol. He's showing women's rears. He's showing them he's putting up his middle finger. Nice to see the Catholic Church saying something worthwhile. What a piece of shit. She's the one who deserves a punch in the face. FBI admits that obeying the Constitution just takes too much time. Wow, Ethan, obeying the Constitution just takes too much time, and he says the FBI admits to that. Perhaps he admits to it too. Folks, these are the social workers. I think this is a self-portrait, and he has a couple of bottles of beer. Okay, anyway, the point being, everybody can look at this, and hopefully John has been able to blow it up. It's a bad situation. John, Terry, I want to move on now. I want to touch base on the Michigan story.
Okay.
We've got 3 kids taken from mom. All the while, folks, just to update you or give you a little history, mom was the one who called Child Protective Services in hopes of getting.
But actually, she didn't actually call them. What she did was, when Child Protective Services showed up at her door, she asked them to help. I mean, she thought that they were there to actually help her. She didn't realize she did ask for help, but it was after they had already come. Just to clarify.
Okay, wonderful. Tell me what's happening now, because I have made some phone calls, folks. Okay, and I want to cite a couple of things. I spoke with one of the social workers on this case. Now, Terry, are you aware of whether the social workers are still on the case? Because I think that you and I discussed briefly that one of the social workers has been, she is now not in the case, and as a matter of fact, she's not even with the department. Is that right? Have you heard of that?
That is my understanding. I know that she was brought in for what they call a show cause hearing on the case, and she is no longer on the case.
Okay.
And she was actually, from my understanding, she was actually trying to help the families. That she was realizing what was going on, and she was trying to get the girls back home.
So when you say what was going on, it was possibly something bad. That's what it sounds.
Oh my goodness, this family has been through so much. To me, this is one of the most horrific stories we've ever covered, because these girls, they were caught smoking pot. They were actually caught. They were smoking pot. They were caught posting a picture with something that indicated they had been smoking pot, and they posted that on Instagram. And that got back to the principal, and it got back to their mom, and their mom really wanted to nip it in the bud. And so with Child Protective Services came and knocked on the door, courtesy of the school principal, and they basically told her that, you might lose these kids unless you go and you need to file incorrigible charges, and then we can get these kids some services. And so she thought that they were going to help. She didn't realize that they were going to end up taking the kids and putting them in an abusive foster home. They were going to one child developed anorexia, the other bulimia, and then we're on death's door. And because they ran away from the abusive foster home, the probation officer sentenced them to juvenile. And so it just got from bad to worse. And then they've separated the twins. They're identical twins. And that is, people who are not twins cannot comprehend the magnitude of difficulty that places on twins. Twins tend to be extremely close. And this is so traumatic. Any separation of twins, even from separating them at birth or separating them at any point growing up, is very difficult. I myself am married to a twin. They're the youngest of 12 kids. All the rest of the family lived 10 hours away in Louisiana. The 2 twins, we live within 20 minutes of each other, and always have.
I want to just let the folks know who's speaking right now. Once again, this is Terry LaPointe, one of the journalists, investigative journalists for medicalkidnap.com. Terry covers, writes about, and investigates these stories of such an egregious nature that she feels must be exposed. And as you folks know, medicalkidnap.com, which we highly respect this platform because they cover these stories and they allow parents to have a platform to tell their story, because as we know, parents don't have anywhere to go. And they have nobody to listen to, and it's the most helpless feeling. So Terry LaPointe, medical kidnap, investigative journalist. I'm sorry to interrupt. I just want to let everybody know who's speaking so that there's no confusion. And so just to up it a little bit, right now, what's going on with the Michigan case? Because I can tell you, John, I sent you over a recording at 4 minutes with this recording in which myself and a social worker discussed this particular case, Terry.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the social one of the one, I don't want to say the social worker on the case. It was a social worker privy to the case. I'll leave it at that at this time. Hopefully the department plans on doing the right thing in this case and sending these girls back home and not
and getting them the medical treatment that they need. Because
right.
one of the things that came up was they were trying to get, they were working on sending them home, but they were just going to send them home and drop them off without doing any medical treatment and she has no coverage now for them. She lost her insurance after they were in care, and she can't get Medicaid because they're still under state custody. So if they sent the kids home without being without any insurance, then she would be on the hook for paying for any medical
right
care that they have that they need, and they need medical care. Their medical condition is very serious.
Right, it's very serious. And what Mom has said is, and we are now in agreement. I mean, we were in agreement, but now that we've looked even deeper, I am more in agreement than ever. Her children's lives are at stake.
Yes, very much so.
What I have been told is the girls are dual wards. So they are wards of the juvenile justice system under the probation, and they are wards of the foster care system, both in the state of Michigan. Okay? I have been told that the Department of Health and Human Services, DHS, in the state of Michigan has oversight on both cases, meaning the juvenile justice case and the foster care case. Okay? Both cases. DHS has oversight. So, folks, if you want to complain, whether you are under the juvenile justice or the foster care, DHS has oversight on both of them, and I have confirmed this with the department. Additionally, one of the girls was sent to the state of Ohio, and it really was concerning to me because how could they be sent to the state of Ohio when the state of Michigan has jurisdiction? Well, according to what I was told, there was substantial health risks, and the child was placed in Ohio based on a referral. Are you aware of that, Terry LaPointe, medical kidnap investigative?
I knew that she went there because the eating disorders facility, that they needed to get her in an eating disorder treatment facility, and there was nothing available in the state of Michigan. So my understanding is they sent her to Ohio because that was what was available.
Well, okay. And what I was told was they sent her to Ohio because there was an inpatient facility that could address these substantial health risks.
Right.
And let me just tell you, let me see. And I'm quoting this, folks. Her eating disorder did take such a physical toll on her body. This is a verbatim quote. I've written it down. Okay. Substantial health risks. Her eating disorder did take such a physical toll on her body. Folks, she had no eating disorder before she was taken into the custody of the Department of Health and Human Services in the state of Michigan.
Right. In fact, both of them were athletes. They were traveling around the country competing in gymnastics and cheerleading competitions.
Would it surprise you, Terry, if I told you that in the state of Michigan, through the University of Michigan, and I have reached out to them, that they have an extensive inpatient and out of patient eating disorder program?
That does not surprise me. I know that they had a program, a day program that they had talked about getting the girls into at one point, but they were going to charge the mother, Laura. They said it would cost at least a minimum of $40,000 for a minimum of 8 weeks. and it was a day program that she would have to take them to back and forth, but the state was not going to pay for that. They were going to have her pay for that.
Which doesn't make sense to me because I did ask if both of the girls had medical, with all three of the girls had medical coverage, and I was told, yes, they all have medical coverage.
Oh, here is a text that was sent directly from Amy Bennett, who is the probation officer, and this was sent to the mother, Laura. Good morning, Laura. The girls had different Medicaid coverage when they were in residential placement as opposed to the juvenile center. You're right. It did cover it when they were in residential, but it will not cover it now that they are at the juvenile center. We can still try to keep the appointments. However, the financial burden will lie with you. Please advise on how you would like to proceed. Thank you.
Folks, I have tried on several occasions to call the Juvenile Justice Center. They are always busy. I'm going to continue to try because we have a right to know if the people, I can tell you that when people are in prison, most oftentimes they have better medical coverage than those civilians who are free on the outside. Okay? I don't know if people are privy to this, but they have really good medical coverage. Now, whether they always, give it to them or not is a different story, and whether they're treated fairly to receive that medical coverage, but they have some of the best medical coverage available. I don't know if you knew that. Okay. John, I want to see if we can play the recording starting at 4 minutes. We need to take a short break, folks. We're going to get this recording up. We only have we've got less than 5 minutes, but 30-second break or so. We'll be right back. Thank you, folks.
In the future, talk radio will actually educate, inspire, and make you think. The future is now. Topics and music that affect your life from Universal Broadcasting Network. Tune in at ubnradio.com.
The views and opinions expressed in these radio programs are those of the individual hosts and do not reflect the official policy or position of Universal Broadcasting Network.
Okay. I believe that we're back. Terry, are you still with us?
I am.
Okay, great. John, if you could please play, starting at 4 minutes. I don't know if I'm going to be able to hear it. Yeah, I'm not sure, but John, would you message me and just let me know if it's possible that I can hear it? Please. Okay, that you're aware of, that you would be able to at least refer these kids out to, other than going out of the state.
Well, only one was placed in Ohio, and that was based on referral, because we don't have any inpatient facilities that meet those needs. Abby was very severe. We do have out facilities through U of M. We do have another outpatient facility in another area in the state. However, she needed inpatient care for her eating disorder because her eating disorder did take such a physical toll on her body. So her needs was River Center in Ohio.
Okay. And right now, evidently, her needs are not being met. I guess I don't have all of the documents, but my understanding is she needs more. Let me see. Okay.
Successfully discharged from the eating disorder program on June 20th.
And she's better now? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying she was successfully discharged from the eating disorder program.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that. Okay. So she was successfully discharged. Okay. So she is inclining in health then, as far as her eating disorder.
Yes. She's been given the tools to be able to meal plan and understand her calorie needs for the day. Yes.
Okay. John, stop for a moment, please.
And she's participated in meal planning during parenting.
Okay, folks, please hear what she just said? She has been given the tools to be able to meal plan. Folks, they've got her in lockdown, seclusion for the next 2 weeks. There are no tools. She is in the Juvenile Justice Center. Terry, did you hear that?
Yes.
Does that shock you?
They tell the parents one thing, and they tell people and the public one thing, and they do another.
What do they tell? What are they doing that differentiates from what she just said?
I'm sorry. I apologize. I was dealing with a comment that was ugly. I apologize.
It's okay. Go ahead. You're preoccupied. Well, the bottom line is, folks, they are not giving her the care. They are saying, as you just said, social worker, she said she has been given the tools to be able to meal plan. I'm sorry, she's in a detention center that's locked down, and I have confirmed that. And, oops, sorry, guys. And I've confirmed that. And for the next 2 weeks, she'll be on lockdown. I want to continue. Right. And did you also hear what she said? Her eating disorder did take such a physical toll to her body. Did you hear that, folks? Because she never had an eating disorder until she was abused and then failed to thrive and wanted to just end it all based on the abuse and the heartache and the suffering that she experienced, not at home, while she was in the system. John, can you continue to play it a little bit more, please?
She's been given the tools to be able to meal plan and understand her calorie needs for the day. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Information and in meal planning during parenting time as well.
Okay. And is she able to access the meals for her meal planning where she's being detained right now?
That would be a question for Miss Bennett.
Okay.
I would assume so. I know that the detention center is aware of her needs.
Okay. So Miss Bennett evidently sent a text message to the mother, and in the text message, and that was forwarded to me, the text message claims that they do not have the ability to meal plan. And so she's telling the mother, if you would like to help financially, we might be able to facilitate that. Does that make sense to you? I mean, does that...
I do not know. Okay. I've been included on all of the texting back and forth, and I don't recall that message. So I'm not informed on that.
Okay, I think Mary was included on that message. Let me see if you were actually included. So, folks, she said, yes. Yes. Okay. I think that, well, they are aware. This facility is aware of her meal planning, right?
Yeah. When my understanding is this meal planning thing, you can't just hand her a paper and say, this is your meal plan. They have to, because this anorexia and bulimia they affect them mentally. They need somebody watching them, making sure, enforcing that meal plan. And these people are not, and the juvenile facilities are not trained to do that. They're not trained to monitor and watch. And they've even shown that when they've come to court, they're not really monitoring and doing an adequate job of following the meal plan. So they're not getting, she may be saying that they're getting the help that they need, but they are not. They're not being monitored. Their esophagus is getting damaged. They're passing out on a regular basis. Both girls faint regularly. there's all kinds of health problems from this, and it's something that they need to get on. They need to have intensive help dealing with the eating disorder. It took Abby 6 months in that Ohio facility in that minimum 8-week program. And it is something that is intensive, and it is something that they cannot address themselves. It's not something that they can say, oh, I'm just going to decide not to be throwing up.
Right.
Right.
Of course.
They need help. They need real help.
That's right. John, I want you to play a little bit more of this. And I may ask you to fast forward. It's kind of, I'm not the best on the phone, folks, but I'm trying to take all of this in. Go ahead, please. Bear with me. Right now I'm trying to find
Stefano,
this.
What's your number, just in case we just get disconnected, so I can call you back?
Oh, John, please would you pause this part, because I definitely don't want this part to be, I don't want a public number. Thank you.
That was not about meals. That was not about meals or meal planning. That was about a doctor's appointment, because Miss Dalton wants them to go to a bunch of specialists, and their Medicaid is different when they're in detention. They have jail Medicaid, incarcerated Medicaid. So
it's different, evidently. They have jail Medicaid, folks. So.
And these aren't things that their mother just wants them to have. They're tests that their doctors have ordered.
I know.
I've seen the documentation.
Absolutely. Go ahead,
They're
John.
medically necessary.
That's right. Go ahead, John.
So that means that if there is an emergency and they require hospitalization, or they require going to the hospital for something, it is covered. However, if it is not an emergency, it's not covered. So if they have a health need, it will be met. If it's just an appointment to have an appointment or to follow up, there's no guarantee it would be covered.
Okay. So just the typical appointments are not really medically necessary might not be covered, but any medical necessities would be covered.
Correct. And both of the girls are up to date on their annual physicals and their medical dental needs. So at this point, anything that Ms. Dalton is asking for is above and beyond what is required or what is necessary. So I don't know that it would be included with the incarcerated Medicaid. If the girls had an issue, they would be taken to a medical facility and they would be treated.
Okay. And you have no oversight. You don't communicate with the juvenile center, correct? Or does your scope also extend to that level?
I don't personally, because I'm the supervisor.
Okay.
My foster care worker does have the ability and does communicate with the detention facility. She's still required to make her monthly contacts and be up to date on what's going on with the girls.
Okay. And Mary is still on the case? Is that what you're saying? She is still the social worker? Mary Williams.
Mary Williams is unexpectedly off at this time. She just went off this week, and we're not sure when she'll be returning.
Is she on medical leave?
She's on an unexpected leave, yes.
Okay. And is there an investigation?
An unexpected leave. And I don't know if anybody heard her. She said, and there was attention. She's on an unexpected leave. And do you know why, folks? Because when a social worker tries to do the right thing and do their job as it is written, they get bullied. It isn't just the parents, it isn't just the children, but it's the good people in the system. Unexpected leave. Medical leave? No. Unexpected leave. That's a new one to me. Have you ever heard of that, Terry?
No, I haven't. Unexpected. That was quite a diplomatic way of, I think the technical term is called a euphemism.
Yeah, exactly. You are right, girl. That's good. John, please, a little bit more. This is exciting. We're just missing the popcorn, folks.
That's happening with Mary.
She's on an unexpected leave.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
She's not going to say anymore.
Okay. So in your opinion, though, Chris, you feel that these kids are okay, and you would be made aware if they weren't.
Absolutely. Yes.
Absolutely.
And how often are they seen by your office? I know.
But lately, it's been on a weekly basis, if not more.
Okay.
They have some pretty intense needs, and we have usually on a weekly basis we do have interaction with them.
Okay. Okay. And as far as their mother goes, medical records, does she have access to that?
She's their mother.
Okay.
Her parental rights are intact. She has access to everything we have access to.
Okay.
Wow. I'm sorry for.
Okay. And
wow.
Should she go to you to procure those medical records or any internal records, documents? Would she contact you? Could I?
She could.
Okay.
She can also the physicians. She can. What is she request? What is she needing? She's been given everything we've been given along the way. She probably has more than what we have.
Okay. So she's not void of anything. Okay.
No.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. Okay. I think that I have covered everything. And you're overseeing, and it sounds like you're familiar, and that the girls seem to be. Are the girls having phone calls with outside family members? Are they having the ability to?
My understanding, well, you understand there are 3 children on this case.
Right.
One child is a foster care ward only, and she does have a frequent, unrestricted contact with all of her family members. That being said, Miss Alexis and Abby are both in detention right now. So because of their probation violation, they are in detention. And no, they do not have access to all of their family members. My understanding is they're under a 2-week. They're awaiting disposition, and I think it is scheduled for the 29th of July.
Okay. I had the 28th. Okay. So the 29th?
No, it's probably the 28th, I'm guessing.
Okay.
The end of July, off the top of my head. That
Okay.
They have, and at that point, they will determine placement after detention.
Okay. And are you recommending Nebraska? That's what I forgot. As a placement?
We are exploring placement options to meet their needs, yes. Nebraska is on the list of the placements that we are exploring, but there's nothing decided finally at this point.
Okay, when you say to meet their needs, what needs? Medical needs? What types of needs does Michigan not have?
More of their juvenile justice needs and their need to be able to develop autonomy from the dysfunction of their interaction with their family.
Okay.
It seems the girls are teenagers. They're bonded with their mother. They love their mother. Their mother loves them. There are very strong concerns that every time there's interaction, there seems to be an additional crisis that directly follows.
Hold on 1 second. This is Erica. Hold on.
Okay, go ahead. John, we're going to cut off there. Folks, there was a lot to take in. They want to send these girls. They are exploring the state of Nebraska. as an option to send these girls. They have already sent a child to Ohio to have medical care because they, as you heard firsthand, this is not hearsay, unlike much of what we hear, or the parents hear, I should say. You heard it from the horse's mouth. The state of Michigan did not have the medical services to be able to treat this eating disorder that this child had, and therefore we had to send her over to Ohio. In the same respect, they are now saying we are exploring different avenues in which to place these children permanently. We know that the kids love mom. We know that mom loves the kids. We're not concerned with the bond. However, we want to take them out of Michigan because they may have better juvenile facilities to accommodate them. Folks, we've got a problem. We're going to continue to cover this. Terry LaPointe.
Hi. I'm kind of speechless over here.
Well, good. I want you to be speechless, and I want you to get that out to everybody so that everybody stops and pauses and is speechless for a moment and darn it, takes a stand. Takes a stand. And folks, please, I cannot beg you enough to be a voice for a child. You don't know what these kids are going through. It's not a made-up story. This isn't the parent did something wrong. This is a broken system. Our children are being murdered, raped, killed. They are being abused to the point of wanting to kill themselves or becoming, as the social worker just said, severely damaged. Her eating disorder did take such a physical toll on her body. Folks, wake up.
Tammy, I want to address what she said about that the children have some kind of a crisis or a problem every time after they are around their mothers. This is something that I've heard from so many parents and so many in so many cases around the country, and I want to propose an alternative theory. Their theory is they talk to their parents, and therefore the parent is the problem because they have this outburst.
Right.
My theory is that they talk to their parents and then they remember what they've lost, and then they come back into the bad situation again, and they're devastated and they're frustrated and they're angry and they're powerless, that they can't fix it. They can't get back to where they want to be. They can't get their life back, and that's what causes the crisis. I think
Terry,
these people are psychological. Their psychological comprehension is a fried egg has more.
Listen, it's in the bag of cocaine or whatever it is that we saw the other social worker. Unfortunately, folks, I want to continue this conversation. We've got a contradictory statement made by the state of Michigan, by an even higher up. So what you've heard right now, folks, you are going to hear a contradiction from the same office, the same department, but not the same story. Stay tuned, folks. Not today. We will continue this conversation. It is important. Get educated, folks. Be a voice for a child. UBN, thank you for covering these issues and caring about the safety of children. MedicalKidnap.com. Terry LaPointe, investigative journalist for Medical Kidnap. We love and honor you, honey. Please don't ever give up on these kids or these parents. They need you. I am Tammi Stefano from National Safe Child Show. We shall see you here next week, Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. God bless you. Be safe. Protect your children.
Thank you for listening to the National Safe Child Show on UBN Radio. For past episodes, visit the archives on ubnradio.com. And for more information, go to nationalsafechildcoalition.com. The views and opinions expressed in these radio programs are those of the individual hosts and do not reflect the official policy or position of Universal Broadcasting.